I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jay.
Welcome to this week's Arguably Correct. How are you doing today, Jay?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. You just had a nice hit off your douche whistle.
Yes.
Got some nicotine you running up in there.
12 milligrams.
How long you been on that thing?
2 years.
2 years.
Somewhere in there. I don't know. Yeah, I think November. This November will be 3 years.
Have you had a cigarette since you started using it?
So when I started using the vape, I don't know I worked it in.
Yeah, okay.
Like the rule was
overlapped.
Yeah, the rule was I had to use the vape like twice a day. If I wanted to have a cigarette, I wouldn't, and I'd have the vape instead.
Interesting.
And then over time, it's almost like my body retrained itself to realize that the vape doesn't make me feel like shit, whereas the cigarette did.
So you started craving the vape more than the cigarette?
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
And I ended up having, and when I finally quit, it was just kind of by accident. I had like 2 packs of cigarettes in my car, and I had 3 total. I finished the 1 pack and never opened the other 2. And I had them in there for like a month and finally just gave them away because I didn't want them. And then I got drunk at a show and was like, oh, I want to have a cigarette. The rule is I can smoke whenever I want to.
Yeah, denying yourself makes it worse.
Sure.
Right.
So like I know right now if I wanted a cigarette, I can go have one. So I'm at the show and it'd been probably, months since I had a cigarette. But I had a few too many drinks and it seemed like a good idea. Drunk Jay really wanted a cigarette.
Yeah.
And the guy even had Parliaments, which was my brand. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I got it. I lit it. Took like 2 hits.
Ugh.
Fucking gross,
Right.
man. It's so gross.
I had the same experience. Yeah.
And that was the last one. I took 2 hits and I was like, hey, thanks for the cigarette. And then I walked away and I chucked it.
When did you start?
Smoking?
Yeah.
It was 16, 15,
okay.
something like that.
I was 11.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't full-time smoking, but I was picking up people's cigarette butts and things like that. And
Oh, you were homeless smoking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then my brother started buying them for me. So.
Oh, nice. At 11?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
That is young.
Yeah, it is. I think I was just turning 12 at that time when he was there. But yeah, so I'd sell candy at school and I'd take the extra money and buy more candy to buy more cigarettes and then take that and have him buy cigarettes for me.
Yeah.
95 cents a pack. So
Yeah.
but I had to buy, what I remember, and again, it's a long time ago, I had to buy 3 packs. 2 go to him and 1 goes to me. The VIG was 2.
Oh, nice. That's smart on his part.
I guess so.
Yeah, when I started, I remember buying cigarettes for like 79 cents a pack, 89 cents a pack.
Mm-hmm.
Cheaper brand. The Marlboros or whatever were like probably 99 cents or $1.10. And when I stopped smoking, a pack of Parliaments was like $7.49.
It's crazy what they are today.
I was 1 to 2 packs a day, so I figured out what that is for a year.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Speaking on that though, and this is the question of the day here today, is it easier to quit smoking or to lose weight and change your diet? And Jay, has never had a reason to diet that I know of anyway.
Not really.
To change anything, right? So you're gonna die a horrible death but be skinny. And
this is the most, right now I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life.
Have you broke 100 pounds yet?
Surprisingly enough, now I was just at the doctor last week.
Yeah.
And for the few people who do know, my back is a little fucked up right now, and I'm waiting to get that figured out. But since then, I can't do much of anything. So I play drums way less than I normally would. I don't work. I don't do anything. I'm just a fucking bum. I hate it. But so I went and got weighed. And granted, I'm in my clothes. They didn't strip me down or whatever. But it was 166 pounds.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, where?
That's not that much, but it seems pretty high for your size.
But I normally rock at like between 135 and 145. I think the highest before that was like 145.
Last time I was 160 pounds, I was 16 years old. Like
You're taller.
Well, the funny thing is, like, my weight always correlated with how old I was. And I don't remember when it started catching up, but I remember in my teenage years, about 14, I was about 145 pounds. When I was 15, I was 155. When I was 16, 165.
Okay.
So on and so forth. And then, I always made the joke.
And when you're 60.
Well, I was kind of shooting for 30. I said, man, by the time I'm 30, I'll be 300 pounds. You know? And somewhere around 27, I got really sick. I don't remember exactly what I got sick from, but I got really sick. Had to go to the doctor, and they weighed me. And the scale said 272 pounds, I think.
What the shit?
And it was at that moment I'm going, this ain't a joke anymore. Like, I'm literally going to be 300 pounds in the next 3 years if I don't change my ways. So I kind of had a moment, man. I kind of broke down. I'm like, I was really sick. I was noticing that I had to hold my breath to tie my shoes.
What?
because my stomach was in the fucking way.
Oh, okay.
You know, to get down there, it was getting difficult.
Yeah, and if any problem you bring up like that, I'm going to be like, what?
What is that?
I can't relate to
I
any
can
of
stand
them.
up and put my shoe up and tie it myself without. Yeah, I can't.
I can still keep my legs straight and bend all the way down and put my palms on the ground.
Yeah,
no. I'm even with the bad back, like
that ain't happening.
I'm still very flexible. I just can't
not for me
do the work.
So I mean, I think I have a unique perspective on this topic because I have had to do both. I have quit smoking multiple times. Again, currently I'm a 2-year ceased smoker.
But you actually quit smoking.
Yes, no nicotine at all.
I just switched
yeah.
from one to the other.
Now,
so did I quit? Really?
And see, that's the argument, right? Have you really quit? Could you quit? Would you want to? I mean,
I don't know. I enjoy it, but at the same time, it is a hindrance.
Well, it's a habit, right? It's something that you have to dedicate time to, energy, money, for that matter. You know, you got to make sure you have it wherever you go, or else you'll feel like shit. You know, so on and so forth. Because the reality of nicotine, the withdrawals are real. It's not a joke. You know, and in my personal opinion, and I can try to back this up with some, I won't say facts, but some reasonable research here, that I think quitting smoking is easier than losing weight. It has been for me.
Really?
For the simple fact is the underlying, like the easiest thing that doesn't amount to any research whatsoever, I can tell you this. If you want to quit smoking, theoretically, without too many health problems, you can just stop.
Okay.
You can't just stop eating.
No, but you can definitely eat.
But then again, now you're talking about choices. So that's the distinction.
Yeah, they're both choices. You're choosing to be like, okay, I'm not going to smoke anymore and deal with the withdrawals, and then you have to say, okay, well, instead of going to McDonald's, I'm going to make some chicken, maybe have a salad.
But just if you wanted to quit smoking, you don't have to choose to smoke. Okay, it's Tuesday, so I can only smoke 1 cigarette today, but I can smoke 3 on Thursday and only a half of one on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Like you're like counting calories.
You're not
or whatever,
like doing the salads of cigarettes and having a part. Like today's salad day, so I only smoke 1 cigarette today.
I can smoke a Marlboro Light today,
exactly.
But on Thursday I get to smoke a Camel
White unfiltered. Yeah, that's right. And
I'm just gonna eat a pack of cigarettes on Saturday.
More or less. I mean, and that's the reality of it. You could. It's either on or it's off, right?
Yeah.
You're either gonna smoke or you're not gonna smoke. There's no in between. But with eating, you either eat like shit, or you have to make good choices constantly.
Don't they like on diets?
Day.
Don't they have like cheat days or something? Or is that not a thing?
Oh, I mean, as far as like prescribed diets,
I don't know. There's like a million different diets out there.
Let me tell you. Finish my story. When I was 27 or 270 something pounds, I realized I had to do something. Talk to the doctor. They sent me to a dietitian, and they did the whole, here's what a real proportion is. Here, and I thought I was a fairly reasonably intelligent person at that time and kind of knew what is and what isn't good for you, generally speaking. And I think I said, "Are you effing kidding me?" Over and over and over again. They're like, the typical, the average serving of meat should be no bigger than a deck of cards. And I'm going, what? Like, yeah, so the palm of your hand is a serving of protein in a meal. Even your eyes bug out. Who the hell, really?
I mean, I guess the palm of my hand, but it'd have to be like
4 inches thick.
Yeah, like a 4-inch thick
like
steak.
a filet mignon.
Yeah, exactly.
Then, wrapped in bacon.
Yeah, then I'm saying, okay, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and that was, so it was a real eye-opener on the portion size thing, right? And I'm like, wow, I didn't really think I overate. And the funny thing is I only gained weight typically it was between November and February. I would gain 10 pounds.
The winter
weight.
You're less active.
Yeah, I guess. But I wouldn't gain any more, or lose for that matter, throughout the year after that. Like through the spring and summer, I would stay, steady.
So it's just every winter November, you're putting some on, but you would never take it back off?
10 pounds every winter, yeah. And this was coming out of spring. I just put my winter 10 on. And so I decided at that point, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to die. Like, I couldn't even tie my damn shoes anymore.
Yeah.
I'm feeling lethargic, shitty.
Get some fucking slippers and have a good time, man.
There you go.
Order the steak and wear some slippers.
And at that time, I was still, kind of climbing trees and doing that kind of. It was becoming harder and harder to do. The saddles didn't fit anymore. Like things.
Saddles?
Well, the climbing saddles. I was getting at the.
Didn't know they were called saddles.
Ones. Yeah, what else?
That's hilarious. I don't know.
Climbing butt holders.
It makes more sense than saddle, I guess.
Yeah, it's a saddle.
Okay.
So I had to change my ways, and the way I did it was all these fad diets, and we'll get to that. I didn't do a fad diet. I was reasonable with the amount of calories I took in, and I expended more calories than I took in. And that was it. I didn't eat special things. I didn't do the paleo, which wasn't a thing then.
Like paleo, keto,
all that stuff. Yeah, I mean Atkins keto's basically Atkins of a sort.
I don't
know.
I don't know any of them.
No sugar.
Other than the names.
So
no sugar, but that seems like it'd be healthy for you.
There's consequences.
Is there?
We can talk about that. Yeah, but generally speaking, I decided that with the dietitian, again, she helped me figure out what I was doing wrong, and one of my problems was I wouldn't eat all day. I would get up, I'd grab maybe a cup of coffee on the way into work, I'd smoke my cigarettes all day at lunch, I'd be busy, yada, yada, yada. I'd go home, and when I got home, I'd get a big-ass plate of food. So I might have was only killing in 2,500 calories or whatever, maybe 3,000 calories in the day, which is still high, but I wasn't eating throughout the day, so my body just kind of went into this mode of, feast or famine in a sense. So everything you took in, it just said, yep, we'll hold that.
Plus, that sounds terribly unhealthy anyway.
You know how many people do that?
I think you're supposed to eat a little bit throughout the day.
And that's exactly what I ate every 2 hours.
Yeah.
I ate something no matter if I wanted to or not. I ate every 2 hours, and something small. Like, I never realized, so I would buy apples at the store.
Mm-hmm.
The size of apple, twice the size of your fist, right? I mean, they're pretty big apples. Oh, that seems like a serving. No, not even close. That's the size of your fist is almost 1.5 servings of an apple, right?
Oh, really?
For a balanced diet, quote unquote. So I would buy the smallest apples, whatever, and I would eat those every 2 hours, or I'd have a yogurt, and I'd have Subway.
Jeff sitting there eating baby apples and just dipping them in his yogurt.
No. Don't dip. Ew, that's gross.
I make veggie dip out of yogurt.
No.
Really?
That doesn't sound appealing. I guess it wouldn't be terrible. It just doesn't sound appealing to me.
Okay. It's well, and maybe that's those are the things I normally eat.
Yeah.
Like not that I eat well.
Yeah.
But I enjoy salad and I enjoy vegetables with yogurt dip.
So I would change my ways. I would eat Subway for lunch. Did all these things. I'd come home and I'd eat a bowl of vegetables for dinner first, and then after that, I'd eat anything I wanted. But by then, I just didn't want to eat anymore. I'd been eating I had set an alarm on my phone every 2 hours. I got to eat. It almost got annoying there for a while. And I started losing weight. I was also walking 2 miles a day. I'd take the dog out. We'd walk the block, come home. That's it. It's 2 miles a day. I didn't eat no fat this, or there wasn't any thought to it except for portion size. That's all I did. Okay. Control the portions, walk 2 miles a day.
And did it work?
Fuck yeah, I lost 50 pounds.
So why'd you stop?
Yeah, you get to that point, you're like, oh, okay, I'm down here, I feel better.
I'm good now.
And for a long time, I'm
gonna throw it all out the window.
Not really. It was a very slow burn.
Yeah.
I mean, here I am, 40, and it took me 13 years, and I'm getting close to there again. So it took me 13 years to get back up to that, gain that 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Back. And most of that's been within the last 2 years. But
are you gonna start over?
I am, and that's kind of why this kind of came up to my head, because I just quit smoking 2 years ago.
Yep.
So now I have to, be a little more conscious of my body. And you don't know this yet, but I got sick. I got the flu a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I knew you got sick.
Woke up one morning, coughed up some blood. Thought, oh, that's not good. But I wasn't all that concerned about it because sinus draining maybe, but it was a significant amount. So I decided I'm gonna go see the doctor, make sure everything's okay. So I went. Did a chest x-ray. He asked me, and he said, it sounds like it's not a big deal. Nothing came up the rest of the day. I thought it was fine. Well, I got the results of the chest x-ray back. And it probably doesn't mean anything, but it scared the shit out of me. Like, okay, well, this is what it said. I said, what did it say? Well, they showed emphysemic changes. And I said, what does that mean? Yeah. They're like, well, it's a really mild form of, you're showing that you have, developing emphysema.
Oh.
And I'm going, holy shit.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're telling me this over the damn phone. And the fact that they were telling me over the phone kind of gave me a clue that it's not bad, but they're saying that her point was your coughing up blood has nothing to do with, you were fine. That. Yeah, like there's no tumor, there's no lesions, there's nothing, that stands out. But yes, you can tell that you were a smoker. You can see the damage that has been done.
Sure.
And that, I had to do a little Googling and not scare the shit out of myself. But it scared me. It's like, God damn it, I made the right choice. I quit. You know what I mean?
I'm only laughing because it's like you're talking to the doctor and you hang up the phone and you go to Google. What the fuck?
I was talking to the nurse practitioner.
Whatever.
But yeah.
You're talking to a medical professional and you're like, okay, thanks.
Well, they were
I'll get all my information from the internet from here on out. I appreciate your help.
You know how they are sometimes that they don't want to really answer too many questions because it's over the phone.
Yeah, they don't want to freak you out too.
So I'm going to make an appointment and go back and ask a few more questions just to make sure that I'm good. And it was, there's this, those things you check your volume with your lungs and all that stuff like that breathing thing that you use. I went to use one the other day, and someone who doesn't smoke was using it, only got like halfway up, and they're like, oh, this is hard. I'm like, oh, let me try. And I basically went all the way to the men. I'm like, well, they work fine.
So you blow better.
I suck.
You suck on those?
Yeah,
you blow
suck
on them? Okay.
You're checking your volume of your lungs, and I was over like, it goes up to 5,000 whatever milliliters or whatever it is.
You'd be great at it, practicing on this vape all day long.
Pretty much, probably, right? So I'm not concerned about it, but it brought it back up to me. It's like, damn, even though you make the right choices, here you are. I'm going to answer for smoking for 20-something years.
Oh, we all are at some point, yeah.
And I'm so glad that most of all of our friends have quit at least the actual cigarettes for the most part.
Yeah.
Some of my friends still do dip, and I was on vacation last year, and my friends got some cigars, and they're like, hey, you want one? And I wanted to be one of the boys. But in the back of my head, I'm like,
look at you. I want to be cool.
Well, not cool, but didn't want to be the dork. Like, no, that's lame, But all right. And I flat out told him, like, listen, I don't mean to be the.
Oh, so you didn't smoke it?
I tried, and I asked him if I just going to put it down. And I appreciate you spent money on it, and good money at that.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid of smoking again.
Gotcha.
That I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about nicotine that's terrible. Is like, once you have some nicotine, there's receptors in your brain that nicotine attaches to, right? And once those receptors are filled, your brain says, oh, I need more receptors. So it puts in more. And that's usually how, if anybody listening today has ever stopped smoking, you'll know that, when you quit and you start again, you're like, I bum one. And I bum two.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I get like half a pack or a pack, once a week. And then it just slowly progresses up because your brain starts building up.
Next thing you know, you're packing a half a day.
You're right back into it before you even know what happened. And you're like, oh shit, But I had the same experience with you when I've quit a few times. I quit for 4 years once. And this last time, though, was the first time when I smoked that last cigarette, it was absolutely and utterly disgusting. Just, I hated it. I couldn't finish 3 hits off of it, and I put it out.
This was after you had stopped for a while?
Yeah, this was, well, I was doing the vape thing like you. I had went with a simple vape, not a douche whistle like yours. Just one of your replacement vapes.
I try to keep mine as simple as possible.
I know. Well, mine was just like the little cigarette style. It was really basic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I had been doing that probably for like 3 or 4 months.
Okay, and you went back.
Well, I would have, just like you, I didn't want to deny myself anything because once I deny myself shit, my brain starts thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I didn't deny myself anything, and I would smoke, and I had gotten a little drunk, hanging out with a friend, drinking some beers, and we're sitting in the garage. I'm like, just give me a cigarette, man. Fuck it, And he gives it to me, and I took 3 puffs, and I looked. I'm like, I know these are expensive.
No thanks.
And I put it out, and he's like, honestly,
good for you.
Yeah, crush all the cigarettes you want if that helps you not smoke.
No, I mean, he's not going to give you any more.
Probably not. But, it brings up a point about, with your brain, we're talking about making those choices, So here I was smoking. I believe, like, if you've determined to quit smoking, it probably is in what you would say, like, the outermost part of your prefrontal cortex. This is my assertion. And once you start drinking, that's your first part of your brain that starts to shut down, right? Your prefrontal cortex, which makes all your logical decision making.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
So once you start putting alcohol in it, you start making bad, different decisions because that part of your regulatory body is being shut down. And so that where it's pretty new, it's still kind of a thing you have to think about not doing. You put that alcohol in there, and all of a sudden it's like, maybe it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the reasons I kept the pin on me at all times was because, if I go and have dinner or something and have a beer, the next thing I know, I'm like,
I want a cigarette. I'll hit that instead.
And I'd hit it, and it was like, it wasn't perfect, but it was fine. And I remember being at the bar one time, and everybody's bundling up, throwing on their coats and shit. Like, where y'all going? Oh, you gonna smoke? And I always went and smoked with them with my vape just because that was part of the habit that I didn't want to give up. And I'm like, it's so cold out there. I ain't going out there. So I sat at the bar, and I'm like, this is nice. I can get used to this. But
remember when you used to be able to smoke indoors?
Oh my God, it's so terrible. And I was so against.
I'm still
against the law from principle, but I'm not opposed to enjoying the benefits of the illegal.
I mean, I don't smoke now, and now that I'm out, of that, I I hate how cigarettes smell. I smell them on other people, and I'm like, oh fuck, I used to smell like that. It gets bad sometimes.
Can you smell the car in front of you smoking?
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, and I'll, especially, you go out and, we're at a bar, we're at a show or wherever, and I might walk out and hang out with the smokers for a little while just to bullshit with them, and I'm just hitting my vape. But then I'll come home and take my shirt off, and I'll be like, oh, I can't leave it in the same room with me. I got to put it away because it smells so bad.
Well, and that's the thing. So we go back to the point. Is it easier to stop smoking or stop eating? Or you're not stopping, but eat responsibly and lose weight.
In a different episode, we'll cover that bullshit law.
But then we will. But with smoking, one of the things that they've done is they've taken it out of advertisements on TV. So you're not inundated with advertisements anymore, right? I do see some.
Was that it though?
Huh? Well, I'm saying I definitely think it's a component. And I'll work that in here in a second. I definitely think it's a component of why it's easier because you're not seeing it all the time. You're not being influenced by advertising. I don't care who you are, how resilient you are. You are influenced. I mean, they have teams of people that do psychological studies to pick you apart, right?
Yeah.
So you don't see it. When I see a movie that I haven't seen in a long time, that's maybe from the late 80s, early 90s, or a TV show, and you see somebody pick up a cigarette, the first thing I do is, holy crap, that person's smoking on TV. You don't see it anymore.
It's very
rare.
Common, yeah.
Very rare. Unless it's, like set in a different time period. But, you know. You also don't see too many people playing on their phones like they do right now. We'll have to cover that sometime. I thought that was an interesting.
Which in reality, you see
totally wrong. Right?
So
it's not
so
really
much
at all. They should do like a superhero movie, but nobody notices anything happens because they're all on their phones, and like the whole action scene takes place, and everybody's just looking down.
There's probably a few that are like taking video for Instagram to post up.
Get it for the gram. But
wait, we're talking about the same thing?
No.
Okay.
So there's less advertisements, right?
Okay.
And I think one of the other curiosities that I've attributed to my ability to stop smoking is pay at the pump.
Oh yeah,
I don't go inside of the carryout anymore. I don't drink pop either, which was part of the domino effect of when I stopped. When I wanted to lose weight back when I was 27, was pop was one of the first things I cut out.
What do you mean soda?
And yes, soda pop, soda pop, Cola, Coke, whatever you want to call it. I was drinking 1 to 3 20 ounces of Mountain Dew a day.
Ugh.
I love Mountain Dew. It's great. It's my favorite.
But I drink probably 1 to 3 Pepsis a day.
Right. So I don't go into gas stations, so I don't see the cigarettes. You guys don't smoke anymore, so I don't see you guys smoke. This time it seems a hell of a lot easier because it's not inside. I'm not, it's not in the bar.
It's not around you anymore.
It's not around me. But with eating, how are you going to stop? I mean, you are constantly inundated with food commercials all the time.
Eat right.
I get that.
I know it's not easy, but I mean, it is.
But due to genetics, sometimes people, it doesn't matter what you eat. But that's not an excuse. But yes, portion control. I kind of grew up, you eat what's on your plate.
Well, I think I'm just like, I got a higher metabolism, so I generally eat whatever the fuck I want. And I'm usually just
unfair.
Fine. I know, but I mean, so it's not like I'm sitting over here like,
but you could healthy. But you could totally die of a coronary regardless of how skinny you are because your metabolism's high doesn't mean
I probably will. Because I like bacon. I'm going to keep fucking eating it.
There's a funny video by Funny or Die, and basically it's it's the dietitian from the future or something like that. Time traveler dietitian.
Time traveler dietitian.
It's hilarious. So it's got this guy eating a little breakfast, right? He's getting ready to eat some eggs, and all of a sudden the flash and light comes from the back room, and this guy comes up, don't eat those eggs. They're full of cholesterol. They'll kill you. And then he runs back in, and all of a sudden another flash. Wait. Okay, all right. We were wrong. Apparently it has 2 kinds of cholesterol, and you don't want one of them, so don't eat the yolks. Eat the whites, you're fine. He goes, okay, whatever. And the guy flashed over and goes, okay, well, we don't really know. So
we have no idea.
So the eggs are fine.
I eat a lot of eggs.
And he comes back and he's like, don't eat the bread. And at this time, the guy's aging because it's himself coming back.
Yeah,
right? His own time. He's like, don't eat the bread. It's like, why? He's like, well, we're supposed to eat like the paleo people did, blah, 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 centuries ago. He's like, how do we know what they ate? And he goes,
I'll be back.
And it takes off and it comes back. And he's like, oh, that's it. Here it is. Don't eat red meat, And he's like, leaves again and comes back. And he goes, you know what? Honestly, it's genetics.
Just eat what you want.
Just eat, eat what you want. And the guy gets up, he goes, I gotta go to the bathroom. And he walks back and he's like, sits down. So she go. The wife's like, you want some eggs? He goes, yeah.
Yeah, yes, I do.
I'll take some eggs. But, we hear that. I mean, think of the low-fat craze. When we lived through this, right? Mm-hmm. It was the late 80s. I think it was the Cook study. Don't quote me on it. I think it was the Cook study. that they did one study, I think it was 16 people, that said fat contributed to heart disease, right? It was one study that got popularized.
Yeah.
And the news took off with it and put in a couple of headlines. Next thing you know, it's blowing up and went viral, and everybody changed all their shit to low fat. Well, as a consequence of that, it's not palatable. It doesn't taste good. So in order to fix that, they put sugar in it.
Yeah.
They added sugar or sodium.
Probably worse for you than the fat.
And there was like 16 or 20 studies at that same time saying that sugar is the problem, not fat. So, you're adding calories to something that didn't need the calories, and it's insane. So when you're thinking about eating right, even though you're trying to, you're probably subversively screwing yourself.
The few times that I've been like, okay, I'm going to really focus on what I eat, and I'll go through cycles. Sometimes I'll be like, all right, I'm going to go all organic for a while. And
what does that even mean?
Well, just no additives, no chemicals, shit like that. And we've had a garden a couple of times.
So you grew it. That's how you know it's organic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because the other one's kind of a bullshit.
Well, and even when I've bought the other ones, it's hilarious to me because, they cost more, they're harder to find. So everything is made with all this processed bullshit built into it. So if you're just trying to go to the grocery store and also have a good diet, they don't make it easy. I mean, if you're really trying to diet, you really have to put, like you said with the cigarettes, maybe another point to that, just don't smoke.
Yeah.
Well, if you're dieting, it reaches so many different aspects. You're like, okay, I can drink this, I can't drink that, I can eat this, I can't eat that. Well, chicken. Well, do I get this kind of chicken or this kind of chicken? Which one's good for you?
And then you go, fuck it, I'll just grab the
fuck it.
fried
I'm
chicken.
going to Burger King.
That's right. Yeah, I'm done with this.
I'll get their chicken and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, you see in like vending machines, it's $1.50 for the whatever it is that's terrible for you and you shouldn't eat, and the nice diced up fruit that's next to it's $4.50.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the reasons people make bad choices. I know one of the reasons I make bad choices is I'll go to a nice restaurant, or I'll go to a restaurant. Doesn't even have to be nice. And I look at the menu and like, I'm at a restaurant. Do I really want to order a salad?
Fuck no.
No. So I'm gonna get this, and then of course they want to give you value for your food.
You're getting tons of it.
Yeah. And I'm a type of person that I want to clean my plate, and I eat everything, or I'll take it home. I'm neurotic about leftovers. I know you hate leftovers, right?
Yeah.
That should be something we make you do sometime as a bet.
I mean, no, it's not, I eat leftovers. It's just not often.
Not often.
Not as much as I waste a lot of food. But, fuck it, I'm an American. I guess it's what we do over here. I don't mean to. It's just, it's not as good the next day.
I think about my leftovers and I plan like there might be I plan on how I'm going to eat them, and sometimes if I don't get a choice, I'll just go home and I'll just eat them because I feel bad. Like because I don't want to waste it, right?
Mine usually sit in the refrigerator until Tuesday when I clean everything out because that's trash night.
Trash night.
I put them all in the trash.
So it kind of kicks me that yes, I'm gaining weight again, so it's been on my mind. And two, I text with this Sudanese guy, joined like this help learn English, basically you're exchanging languages to help.
Each other?
Help each other, yes. Thank you.
He's learning English.
I'm helping him learn English.
And he's helping you.
Right now, he's not helping me anything, but I was just doing it as good karma because I want somebody to help me learn Spanish.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well, I can't really help him learn Spanish. I'm not at that level yet, but I could offer him at least English, and then maybe somebody else that helps me Spanish. Kind of good karma. Just trying to.
What does a Sudanese person speak?
He speaks Arabic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he speaks Arabic as his native language.
That'd be tough.
So I think he speaks. Well, he's working, I think, 3 languages is what he speaks.
And there's another episode.
Yeah, we'd have to talk about it. He's an interesting guy.
No, I mean just how Americans pretty much know one language, and everybody else in the country knows at least 2.
And anytime I travel, it makes me feel like a complete idiot.
Complete American.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about that. I'm like, most people here don't even do this. And I said, you're asking me English questions, and I can tell you right now, a hell of a lot of people don't even pass their own English. We can't pass our own English classes in our own country, our native tongue.
And English is a stupid fucking language, though. So
it is. He asked me. That. He has 150 words, and he wanted to ask me some questions on ones he didn't understand. And I'm trying to think. He gave me one of the words was analog.
Okay. And
I'm like, ooh, that's deep. So you could go analog as a result refers to music.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer analog recording. Like, okay, does that really translate? Does that make sense to him? And so I tried to give him both. I'm like, I like analog over digital, and I gave him some examples of a tape or a record versus a CD, and or it's something that stands in for something that is similar, like a mannequin stands in for a human in a store wearing clothes as an analog. And I would think if I was somebody that was learning language, I would be scratching my head going, those two things aren't even closely related on the outside.
Where's the correlation?
Where's the correlation?
And why do you have one word that means all sorts of different things?
And then he asked me about homicide, and we talked about, I'm like, okay, if we break the word apart. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought to break the word apart.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I said, because
homo.
I said, it's really, homicide. He's like, oh, it's just killing. I'm like, no, it's specific to killing humans.
Yeah.
It's humans killing humans.
Well, then there's all sorts of other sides.
Yeah. And I didn't get into that. And I thought about it. I'm like, I don't have time to get into that right now. But, insecticide, infantil, I can't remember what that is. Patricide. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. But we were texting one day, on to the point about dieting. He had watched one of our promo videos. So if anybody hasn't seen, we do promo videos for each show. And he's like, you're fat.
He just flat out called you out?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. He just said, you're fat. And I'm like, didn't really have a comeback. And I just said, yeah, I'm well fed.
I'm well fed. That fucking dude has just learned the language. And he's like, ooh, we look fat.
Well, I mean, he's been probably studying since, early grade school there. Because they do try to teach you a little bit.
Whoa, wait. How old is this person you're talking to?
19, I think. 19 or 20.
Oh, okay. Just make sure you're not talking to little kids.
No.
All right. It's just checking. I've been watching
that'd be weird.
Been watching some Wubby. And
Sure, pay money Wubby. So he's kind of it made me think like, damn, and I wanted to say like, yeah, because we have tons of food, and I think he kind of made some references later to the way Americans eat versus the way they eat.
Dude, I can walk for 2 minutes and I'm inside Burger King.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I don't have to go finding food or
no.
It's not an issue here.
Not at all. And he works in a bakery with his dad and everything, and he, talk about hyperinflation. There's some interesting things going on there, and I'm learning on his side, and hopefully he's learning from me too. But
he's probably learning to stay the fuck out of this country.
He wants to come here so bad, and I'm like,
really?
He does, yeah. He definitely wants to. And we'll have to talk more about him later. But but he brought up a point. He's like, oh, you're fat. I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. And it's my choice. But this is something I learned recently that you may find interesting. I didn't know this. I kind of knew, but not the science of it. Like when you diet and you change whatever it is, you don't have to be fat, but when you change your eating level. So if you're used to 2,000 calories a day and you reduce to 1,500, the human body is so magnificent, it adjusts for that because it doesn't want to take the fat stores. It wants to keep those if it can.
Yeah.
It'll lower your metabolism and basically make you more efficient, so you'll run on less calories. Well, even if you get to a weight you finally, maybe you're burning more by working out, but your resting metabolism, we're talking about resting metabolism. Your resting metabolism, if you were to, go back to eating the way you were and do nothing else, you will be a deficit. It'll stay at 1,500. Doesn't return back up to 2,000. If you gain that weight back, so if you're at 150 pounds, you lost 25 pounds, you gain that 25 back, so all the things are, say, normalized back to what a 2,000 calorie diet would be for your body type.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. It stays at 1,500. So when you want to go lose weight again, you have to go below that threshold of 1,500.
Wouldn't it adjust at some point and go back up again?
Right now the studies are they don't know. Yeah, a lot of it could be genetic based. Like that's not the case for everybody, but as a larger pool of people, that is kind of the case. There are genetic differences. People don't have that problem. So if you've lost weight in the past, they took I think it was 2014 Biggest Losers, and they did a survey on them and kind of watched them over the next couple of years, and they did the resting metabolism, and they were all over 500 calories deficit where they were before they started losing weight on the show. And they had all gained back, like, on average, they lost 158 pounds, and on an average, they gained back 90 of it.
They lost me.
Yeah, they lost a whole human being. So, so if they ever want to lose weight again, they have to go even deeper. They have to cut deeper to override that resting metabolism, or work out harder,
or you have to work
even harder,
work out more.
So that's the slippery slope. Like, and I guess the idea is don't get fat in the first place, because even if you do lose the weight and you gain it back, it's going to be twice as hard and
to lose it again.
And people say, "Oh, it's because I'm older," and I thought that was true until I started doing a little research.
That's true.
It's true. It's not because you're older. It's because you've been through these cycles. So if you're a yo-yo dieter, you're screwing yourself.
You're making it more difficult.
Making it difficult every single time you
do
a
yo-yo dieter. I like that.
Yeah, you eat yo-yos.
Oh, no, I get it. It's funny. You eat yo-yos.
Yeah, because there's some hormone, and this is why it's easier to quit smoking. You have all these hormones in your body that, tell you if you're hungry or if you're, what you need to intake to keep you alive, et cetera, et cetera. like leptin from your stomach sends a signal to your brain that says, hey, you're not getting, sorry, it's in your fats. It releases from the fat cell. And when you reduce those fat cells, it actually releases more hormone to tell your brain that, okay,
you're hungry.
Well, not you're hungry, but that fat store is being deplenished. We need to replenish it.
Yeah.
So, it'll make you more hungry. So it'll do all these things. And even once you like satiate that, and you're still losing weight, it'll want more. And so you'll feel more hungry.
Keep burning it off.
Yeah. And it's trying to send that signal. And if you stabilize and then you become normal again, that there is a time, a period that it still sends this signal, right? And then you have another hormone that is, again, a lot longer lasting and does issues there.
Called Ghrelin?
Ghrelin? I think it's Ghrelin.
Let's just call it Gary.
Ghrelin. And, and that was the one that your stomach pushes out, right? Or manufactures. Mm-hmm. And they say that doesn't normalize. Well, they don't know how long. Depending genetically, it could not ever.
I'm sure everybody's going to be a little bit different too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But that's
the thing is that you got all these things fighting against you when you're talking about diet. Your body's trying to adjust to all these things. Cigarettes is addiction sucks with nicotine, but within 2 weeks, it's all the effects of nicotine itself are gone.
Yeah.
So,
after that, it's the habit.
After that, it's the habit, changing your ways. Same thing with the diet, changing your ways, not being around the same people or
none of it's easy.
Things. No, none of it is
and
easy.
Isn't it weird too how like it's very rare for people to get addicted to things that are good for you?
Well, working out. There's people that are addicted to working out.
I know a few of them that have replaced drug addiction with working out, and now they're fucking straight fanatics with their workouts. And I'm like, well, I guess it's better than heroin, but no, I don't want to go to the gym with you. It sounds fucking horrible.
Well, for some of the people who have never had to interact with people that have been going through addiction of alcohol and or drugs, I'll tell you this right now. AA, you'll see that the folks who go to AA, they replace whatever they're doing with two things. I think one is self-loathing sometimes, because all they do is talk about all the dumb shit they did. And which I never understood that. I mean, you got to get it out, but it just seems repetitive over time. You keep reliving these events. I never got that part. But the fucking cookies and coffee. If there wasn't coffee at these things, you will die. Well, somebody will kill you.
Don't forget the biggest thing that they replace.
Cigarettes.
No, religion.
Oh,
they push that shit in AA.
I've been to many AA meetings, and it's not as much as you would think.
You went to AA meetings?
Yeah.
Why?
I've been to.
Too personal?
No, it's not too personal. There was somebody in my life that was going through something, and I went with them.
Okay, I was like, you're drinking a beer right now. I've never known.
And I quit drinking during that time too.
Just to help them out.
Well,
to support them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I could not expect somebody to make these choices for their life when I wasn't even willing to do it for myself, even though I didn't feel I had an issue with it. It just was wrong. So I joined in the fight. Like, hey, here, I'll suffer with you.
The few people I know that have gone were like, they go in. And it's great they stopped drinking. Awesome, good for them. But they came out with religion that they never had before. And I guess from what they said, it sounded like they pushed.
It's a higher power. I mean, that's one of the things. What they tried to do is take the burden, not necessarily take it off of you, but give it to something else. Give it to God. Whatever you want to call it, and start living your life a different way, and basically let go of that. Let go of it. Give it to somebody else. Put it on somebody else's shoulder. That's not a real person. That's not here with you. Just let it go. And it's a euphemism. And yes, it's part of the 12-step program. It was kind of initiated that way, but I've been to many of the groups, and it's not pushed as hard as it is perceived to be all the time. And again, you got to find that group that works for you. I think some are more than others. I think there's value in it.
From an outsider perspective,
there's value in it.
I wouldn't know. I probably should go, but I'm not going to.
But sadly, the downfalls are they wind up replacing a lot of addiction with other maybe less
bad for you
addictions. I mean, that argument can be made for cigarettes. I mean, it's a long-term thing. But the thing is, too, a lot of people go there to buy drugs. Because,
what?
Well, drug dealers and yeah, there's a lot of that going on there, too.
So if I'm ever running low, head to an AA meeting.
It's sad. Yeah. You'll find more shit at an AA meeting. If you want to know where the stuff is, you'll find it there. It's sad.
I didn't
think that was true, and that person was like, yeah,
that's true.
This, if you want that. I'm like, ooh, wow. Because everybody's in the game here, and not everybody, but a lot of people are in the game. Some people come because of court. They're not there because they want to be there, and that's the problem. I think if you could separate that, you find a group that's people who want to go.
And the people who are being forced to go by a judge.
Yeah. Because, again, temptation is just that. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to make those choices. We talk about food again, all the advertisements, all the things that look yummy and good. And, your brain is literally wired to make you want that stuff.
Right?
Right? I mean, it provides you with...
Except chocolate. Chocolate's gross. I hate chocolate.
Oh, okay.
I hate sweets. I don't eat chocolate. I don't eat sweets, candy. I've never gotten the people like, oh, chocolate's so good.
Nah,
but I actively dislike it. Like, it's gross.
I used to hate it as a kid. I'm a white chocolate. I was always okay with.
Whoa.
But these days I can tolerate it, but I don't seek it out. It's not a thing for me.
Yeah,
chocolate ice cream to me is disgusting.
All ice cream is disgusting.
Yeah. Peanut butter though, I'll eat peanut butter. I love my peanut butter. Oh, here's a funny. Okay, why one of the reasons I might be fat.
Here we go.
Speaking of sweets, I grew up with this habit, and it's funny, these things that you grow up with that you don't know are kind of odd until you talk to other people. But I grew up eating peanut butter and sugar.
What?
Yes. So you have a jar of peanut butter and you pour sugar in there and you stir it up and you eat it with a spoon, right?
Whoa, what?
Yes. I talk about like it's no big deal.
First off, eating peanut butter with a spoon by itself, just alone, would be difficult.
Mind you, I don't do this anymore. Well, mostly I don't do this. Sometimes I'll get a very small teaspoon of like a regular small spoon of peanut butter.
You don't put it on
and I'll sprinkle
crackers
sugar
or
just
breads
on it.
or...
I mean, I do that too, but just sometimes I just want to. I like
you
peanut
just
butter.
Eat peanut butter like off a spoon?
A little bit, yeah.
Don't you do like the dog thing where you just keep like licking because it won't get off the roof of your mouth?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I enjoy it a little bit.
Oh, it sounds awful.
It's wonderful.
Awful.
But,
okay.
So
to each their own.
The funny thing is, when I moved in with somebody for the first time, I had 2 jars of peanut butter in there because there's the peanut butter and sugar jar, and there's the peanut butter jar, right? And they went to go make a sandwich, and they're like, "What the hell is in this?" I'm like, "You grabbed the wrong one. You grabbed the peanut butter and sugar jar. You got to grab the other jar." And they looked at me like, "What? Why?"
I have never heard of that before.
And I'm sitting there going, "What are you talking about? Like, this is totally normal, No,
everybody does it.
It's not totally normal. Just like putting peanut butter on hamburgers, man.
I
have a friend that was a condiment on the table when they had hamburgers, and it was
it's so gross.
Completely normal. Yeah,
I tried that once, and I also tried an egg on a.
An egg on a burger. That's pretty good. I mean, I'll eat. These days, I was very picky as a very young child, and the less picky I get, people are like, "Oh, you should try this. It's really good." I'm like, I don't need any more food I want. I already have enough problems with the food I like.
What if I like it?
Yeah, and then I want it more, and I want it more. My big thing is salt, not necessarily sweets. Salt gets me. I want you couldn't put enough soy sauce on things, and salt. I just love salt. I will take salt and just eat salt.
Oh.
Yeah, kosher salt's just a little bit of kosher salt, crunch it up. It's tasty.
I
know.
That made me cringe a little bit. I couldn't do that.
I love salt. I do love salt.
I mean, I use salt.
Somebody in there in the nursing community is going, you have this problem. And I'm like, I have very perfect blood pressure. I have my whole life. For now. This is very true. It's true.
Till it all comes crashing down, and you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't have had all that raw sugar with my peanut butter, and then down in a packet of salt.
It is sad though here in the United States that obesity and health related issues are becoming the number one killer of humans here in this country. It's crazy.
Well, we're an unhealthy bunch.
Yeah, but because we have because we have too much. But then half the people here,
I don't know.
And it's hard. It's expensive to eat good.
It is. It's more expensive, more time consuming, more difficult to eat how you should eat.
Yeah.
It's way too convenient.
Why is
cheap and easy?
Another episode for.
And then the other thing,
what?
When people go to Taco Bell or someplace, okay, and they're like, well, yeah, but I go there because I save money. This taco is only $1, and I'm like, and you think that's real meat? I don't know what that is, but it's not hamburger.
It's tasty. I don't know what the animal is called, but we call it tasty.
I'm just saying,
Taco Bell's my weakness.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not what they say it is for $1. I wouldn't think it. I've had it. It doesn't taste like meat. It tastes like, I don't know.
This episode is not sponsored by Taco Bell and never will be.
Like grade L meat.
I find it very appealing, and if you drive by a Taco Bell at 2:30 any day, you'll see that 5,000 other people do too.
Now, post bar, Taco Bell is some good shit. I will.
Now, is it good or it's because it's the only place open? Do you think it's one of those de facto kind of things?
I usually have most of my cravings for fast food on the way home from a show. Yeah. Somebody else driving. I'm pretty liquored up, and I'm like, ooh, you know what sounds great right now? McDonald's. And I think maybe there's something in my brain that just says, hey, you drank too much tonight. You're going to feel like shit anyways. You might as well pour some of that nastiness on top of it, too. So then I wake up hungover with an upset stomach as opposed to just hungover.
But you were so happy for those few moments.
Yeah, no, there's no joke. Yeah, there's nothing like smashing a burger down because I'm not thinking about anything other than how good it is and how fucking drunk I am at the time.
Again, there's that prefrontal cortex being shut down and not making good decisions.
Out the window.
So, smoking, some of the things, it's, you're not exposed to it as much in advertisement as we used to.
That's true.
That's true. And it definitely has been beat to death about the health problems with cigarettes. Shit, we built half our schools off the lawsuit. In the late 90s, early 2000s.
I think everybody knows now. It's bad for you.
Social pressure, which I think we're starting to get a lot more on the obesity side of social pressure. But everybody looks at a smoker as like, they kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a bad person or what? Not bad person, but you definitely have a stigma now. The stigma on smokers is
it's
rising
real.
and rising.
Yeah.
And the government keeps taxing the shit out of it. That's why it's $7 a pack. And my point is, well, if everybody quits tomorrow, where are we going to get this money? You know what I mean? But
then there's that.
Then there's that. So you have that, the social pressure, nicotine receptors in your brain will fade over time. So there's even though you'll have withdrawals. And some of you'll have headaches, dizziness, diarrhea, nausea. Those things are real.
Aggravation.
Yeah.
That's the worst. You get snappy. And
one of the first times I quit smoking, I used Chantix. So there's pills that you can take to help quit, right? I think it was 4 years at that time I quit after taking Chantix. The bad part about Chantix, if anybody's ever taken it, is the nightmares and the dreams you have on it. For me,
really?
The side effects were absolutely terrible, and I became extremely aggressive. I don't know if you remember that time when we were playing together, I was just really aggressive. And
you mean the entire time?
It's funny, people that know me now that didn't know me then, I'm like, I kind of had an anger issue. Like, I got angry easy.
You think? Yeah,
I'm aware. It's I'm way more laid back now than I was 20 years ago. But I remember somebody that was really close to me just threw me a pack of cigarettes and said, please, just fucking smoke, okay? I'm tired of dealing with you. Just have a cigarette. I'm like, no, I don't want to, and no, you're an asshole. You need to smoke.
You need this.
I'm like, I don't.
Or I'm going to kill you.
You're either going to die of your own thing or die on my hands.
Yeah, right.
And luckily I resisted and I didn't do it. But so there are real consequences to quitting smoking, but they're temporary.
I don't think I like the idea though of replacing cigarettes or any tobacco with a pill.
Well, it's not replacing. It helps you get rid of it helps you avoid the cravings. So what it does is it bypasses that detox time, right? That it tricks your brain into not feeling those detox
put a
symptoms.
patch on.
Yeah, but then unless you step down from
that's
that
what I'm
patch.
saying. Yeah, because I quit once with the patch and I made it for a year or two.
Yeah, it's very active though. You have to manage it, and it takes a couple weeks, if not a month, to step down.
I'm just anti-pill. That's all.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
For me, it's I would rather smoke a cigarette than take some sort of a pill.
And recent studies, 75% of smokers want to quit.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Why though? I guess is the reason.
I'm surprised it's not a higher number than that.
Right. But it becomes part of your routine. It becomes part of your life. You have all the things that are associated with food. Like I smoke after I eat, or I smoke after sex, or I smoke after when you wake up. So on and so forth. There's some of those things, but those are habits that you can change. Like you don't have to do that anymore. Yes, you're still going to probably have sex. You hope, even though you gain 10 pounds. But they say the average weight gain if you quit smoking is 5 pounds,
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I thought, well, I wonder what the average weight loss is if you lose 2 lungs. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a whole lot. I think that depends on if you're going to get buried or cremated.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I don't know, from my research here with the hormones and all the things, and still having to eat and make a lifetime of better choices, versus, getting through a 2-week period, maybe 3 for some people, to get over the addiction part of things. In a perfect world, you could literally put somebody in a coma for 2 weeks and then wake them up, and they wouldn't have those things. Now it would just be the social problems.
That seems dangerous though too.
But I
get the idea. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
They put you in a coma for a couple days.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of that.
Why?
Of course, just medically induced into a coma seems pretty.
They were
severe.
probably going to do it anyway.
No, a permanent one.
Permanent one.
No,
yeah.
I get it. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't do heroin. How's that? I don't want to have to do that. Seems like a dangerous step to take.
Well, why do you ever start? Why do we ever start any of these things, And getting fat is a very slow burn for most people.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's a very slow burn. You don't really, it just, like with the frog in a pot of hot water and slowly heat it up and all of a sudden it dies because the hot water and the water's boiling. You don't ever realize it's happening until you can't bend over and tie your fucking shoes one day.
Whereas if you chuck the frog into the boiling water and try to get right back out again.
Funny story about that. There was another guy I knew, and it was before I gained all that weight. He grunted a lot. He's always
okay.
And we'd tie his shoes. I'm like,
stop ASMRing me.
I said, man, why in the hell do you grunt so much? He goes, I'm effing fat, motherfucker. And I thought, God, are you that fat that you can? And then I got to that point where it was happening to me.
And you were like, fuck, now I know what he was doing.
Shoes, and I'm holding my breath, and I'm going, oh man, I've become that guy. And I'm getting there again, and I need to, again, change my ways and do my stuff better. And that little scare of empathy was like, okay, well, I'm glad I quit.
I came into this conversation, because I had quit smoking a few times, and again, now I'm doing the cheater method where I'm on the vape, so I really haven't quit.
It makes me afraid that you're just going to fall back into it if
smoking.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm working on. When I started out, I was at a higher milligram than I am now, so I'm working my way down.
Yeah.
But I came into this thinking smoking was going to be more difficult. Also, admitting that I'd never really paid attention to dieting before, so I didn't know. So you did an arguably correct job of convincing me that dieting does sound more daunting than quitting smoking.
Lifetime of choices after that.
Yeah, and I think
you can quit smoking 2 or 3 times in a row and still be able to quit smoking again, and it's not any harder than it was the first couple times.
Whereas the dieting part,
it
sounds like it would be more
continues to
difficult.
get harder. Yeah. So as we get older, it gets harder to lose that weight. Oh man, I got one.
Yeah, no, you totally got this one. I really was. I was coming into this like, fuck you, smoking was very difficult, and I still am on the vape thing. And no, you got me convinced that dieting sounds like it would fucking suck.
I know you don't need to diet, but I would challenge you sometimes for the next 3 weeks to pick one of those stupid diets that people do just to see how impossible. Yeah, just to do it.
No.
Right?
Maybe for the show, but no.
Even just for the show.
I've been trying to pack lunches and eat right, so I don't have to eat out.
Right.
That usually lasts about 2 days.
Yeah, how hard is that?
And then I go, fuck, because I hate leftovers. So I'm just like, fuck this. I'm getting a pizza.
Right, but it wouldn't be all that out of place for you to get lunch meat and stuff together and take you 5 minutes to pack a lunch in the morning, really. But
seems like work.
It is. It's entirely, and that's part of the problem is dedication to it. One of the things that, they preach in the dietitian thing is meal prep. Like, decide what you're going to eat every week and set it up and stick to it. And don't buy anything else.
Yep.
For a long time, if you go to my house, there was no snacks, there was no bullshit, because I can't control myself sometimes. I'm like, I want a chip. The next thing you know, I'm at the bottom of the bag going, oh man.
I wanted a bag of chips.
Well, and on top of that, bulimia. Not that we're going to get deep into that, but I did know somebody that was really affected by bulimia.
Oh, you throw up?
Throw up, yeah. Okay. And when he kind of got down to brass taxes about it, like, why do you do that? I said, well, you get to do anything you want. You want to get to eat everything and get that dopamine, that satisfaction, and feel so good, and then you have none of the theoretically, right? None of the consequences of the weight gain and everything else. Now, there's all sorts of other side effects, the bad teeth, destroying your esophagus, all these other things. Yeah. But it got so bad that it became pleasurable to them, and I never understood that.
Well, you know what they say. When in Rome.
When in Rome. Well, that's funny you say that because...
That's why I said it. The Romans used to do it all the time.
It was somebody else who got her into that, and it was, part of their lifestyle, and they both enjoyed the shit out of it. I hated taking her to dinner. It drove me crazy. Well, just because, it's like, oh, man, we just spent all that money on dinner, and she's like, I'll be back.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm feeling ill.
But anyway, yeah, digress. But that's the thing is your brain is built to get rewarded for food. So it's going to constantly strive for that, so it's a choice. Whereas your brain is not wired to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Until you kind of wire it that way, and then you can unwire it pretty easily.
Yeah, pretty easily is probably not. It's not easy.
It sounds easier than dieting.
Good. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with you, unfortunately.
So I might not be right, but at least I'm arguably correct. And if you want to join in on this conversation and tell me how full of crap I am, you can email us at arguablycorrectpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at
Arguably C.
So thanks for checking us out. Be sure to check back every Monday at noon. We'll see you then. Until then.
And remember, eat right and don't smoke. Yeah.